Hi everyone, it's Anthony back with another video, and this evening we're actually going to be doing a first impressions, also kind of product welcome into my routine. So I've mentioned it in some previous videos, but I actually deal with some quite intense spots of hyperpigmentation, acne scarring on either side of my neck here and here, and that is all related to shaving. I develop ingrown hairs and irritation from shaving, and I have since I was in my teens, and so I've always had an issue with a lot of dark hyperpigmentation all along kind of my neckline and to my jawline. And for the most part I can kind of, shadows kind of hide it, those types of things, but it is something that I notice quite frequently. And over the years, I've tried various things to kind of alleviate that, reduce that. One thing that really did start to help is a couple years ago when I discovered K-beauty, or just started paying more attention to the skincare world and kind of developed my obsession, is vitamin C. Vitamin C certainly helped to brighten my overall skin tone, helped to lighten some hyperpigmentation and dark spots, and did an okay job here on the neckline in kind of just balancing some things, but those specific deep, dark splotches of hyperpigmentation that I've had for, 15 years plus have always remained to a certain extent. And sometimes they're very intense and sometimes they're not as intense. Of course, that depends on how much sun exposure I've gotten, how often I've been shaving. All of those things play a role into that. Another product that has really helped is glycolic acid. So a more smaller molecular sized AHA that can really exfoliate, churn over skin. That has helped to brighten my skin in a general sense alongside vitamin C. But once again, nothing that completely kind of erases that or really makes a major impact in lightening those areas that I've had for such a long time. And that was until about, I want to say March or April, when I started incorporating hydroquinone into my routine. And I was incorporating that, or I have been incorporating that in the form of the Differin Dark Spot Correcting Serum. This uses 2% hydroquinone. So there's also alcohol in here, helps to get the medication or the ingredient to penetrate a little bit better. You have citric acid in here, which I'm assuming is to help lower the pH. So once again, help that product to kind of penetrate a little bit deeper. So this is a really straightforward, basic, no-nonsense serum that I've been using since March. But the thing with hydroquinone, are you gonna focus? There you go. The thing with hydroquinone is you have to be really careful with it. The 2% is not prescription strength. You can just pick this up over the counter. However, they do recommend that hydroquinone is cycled in and out of your routine. So usually you use it for 6 to 8 weeks, and then you're gonna wanna cycle off of it for 6 to 8 weeks or even longer. So it's not something that is recommended to be used continually forever. It's not supposed to be a forever product. So I get that, there's a risk of side effects. You can actually cause some intense hyperpigmentation, or it kind of works against you. A lot of irritation can develop, those types of things. But essentially what hydroquinone does is it helps to impact and kind of create a roadblock between your skin and melanin production. So it kind of slows that down, or kind of puts a halt to that, so you don't see it darkening, and it can work to lighten those spots of melanin, or those deeper patches of melanin. So it does work really well. I'm on week 7, so I hit my cutoff time, and so I'm very, very happy. Usually this is much darker. It almost looks like a potato shape of darkness, like a very pronounced one, as opposed to being more broken up. You can see it's a little bit more broken up, and usually it kind of looks like a sensor bar underneath here if I'm not using anything. Of course, vitamin C, glycolic acid have certainly helped. So if you are someone that struggles with similar issues, I've brought this product even up to my cheeks sometimes, because I'll experience some splotchiness here after shaving. I'll get some splotches of hyperpigmentation just from irritation of shaving. So mine is very, very shaving related, but if you experience similar issues, this is something that I've used with great success. However, when I cycle off, so this is my second time cycling off of it, Yeah. A lot of that hyperpigmentation, a lot of the darkness, the excess melanin, all of that stuff starts to come back. So when I set it aside, because it's recommended you do so, a lot of it comes back, and then I spend the next 6 to 8 weeks fighting against it, and it's just this like constant tug of war. Like I gain a little ground and I lose a good majority of it, gain a little ground, lose a majority of it. So I have been looking and trying to figure out what new product, what's something different that I can work into my routine that will maybe take the place of hydroquinone or keep the ball rolling significantly enough that way I don't feel like I'm taking such a big step back when I cycle off of that ingredient. So that's what we're here to talk about. And the product that I've decided to try is from a brand called Topicals. They're a fairly new brand, and this is their Faded. This is a brightening and clearing gel serum specifically for dark spots and discoloration. So the ingredients here that are going to help to balance skin tone, brighten, and revive tired skin, I'm just reading straight off the box, smoothing rough texture and textured skin, which I do have some texture issues. I'm an oily combination skin person, and I do get some texture bumps from shaving. You have niacinamide in here, tranexamic acid, which is said to help with skin tone. You have shea butter in here, Centella asiatica, jojoba seed oil, azelaic acid, which is another ingredient that's used for brightening, evening skin tone. But the ingredient that I was most excited to work into my routine from this product is the kojic acid. I've heard a lot about kojic acid and how it is supposed to be targeted towards reducing hyperpigmentation, dark spots, excess melanin production, and kind of balancing the skin tone. So that was one of the main reasons why I decided to give this product a try. There's also licorice root in here as well, and licorice root is really great for calming, soothing, reducing redness, those types of things. So it's kind of like an anti-inflammatory product while at the same time reducing hyperpigmentation, dark spots, those types of things. So I picked this up along with their Like Butter. This is their hydrating mask. This is a deep hydrating mask, once again off the box, for dry, distressed, eczema-prone skin, which I'm not, but I do like occasionally having a deeply hydrating mask on days where my skin feels particularly dry or particularly dehydrated or parched, which always happens in the wintertime in Colorado with the dryness in the wind. This just sounded like something that would be really nice on days where I'm just feeling particularly parched. So this isn't something that we're working into the routine today, but I did want to mention it because I got them together as a set. But we're gonna go right in with the Faded gel. I still need to apply my Curology prescription, which I apply to pretty much here to here, and then usually with the hydroquinone, I do here down to kind of my jawline where those patches are, and that's it, just that bar. So I think for now, that's what I'm gonna do, just to make sure that my skin isn't gonna react to this in any sort of negative way. And eventually, I don't see any reason, because this isn't hydroquinone, I don't see any reason why I couldn't use this on my entire face as well as the Curology, layer them. I don't know, or I didn't see any issues with using the tranexamic acid, the niacinamide, the azelaic acid or kojic acid along with tretinoin. So I don't think there's gonna be any issues there, but I do wanna monitor that for a couple days before I just start slapping stuff on. So let's go ahead and pop the Curology on just so we can get that done and out of the way. My current prescription of Curology is niacinamide 4%, clindamycin 1%, and tretinoin 0.02%. So it's a very low percentage. I'm ever so slowly making my way. I'm gonna look in the viewfinder while we do this. I'm ever so slowly making my way to higher percentages, but my skin has been responding really, really well. We've been bumping it up, or the dermatologist that's been assigned to me through Curology has been bumping my prescription strength up ever so slowly, and I kind of appreciate that. I don't mind a slow and steady increase, but so far so good. I've mentioned it in previous evening routine videos that I used to get some really deep, infected feeling kind of pustule style pimples. I know that's a lot of info, but it's very true. I used to get them every couple of months, so one would happen like right on the inside of my nose or right on my chin, or a lot of times right here and here, which is where some of my hyperpigmentation has developed from. And then on my temples, they just be big and throbbing and painful. And fingers crossed, knock on wood, I haven't had those since starting Curology. Everything seems to be like, if I do get a blemish or like a whitehead, it kind of is like tiny little thing that's up and gone within a day, sometimes even less than a day. It's like, bye. And so I really appreciate that. The dryness, the flakiness, the itchiness that I was experiencing the first few weeks I started tretinoin have kind of tapered off. So even though we're increasing my prescription strength, I haven't seen like another hit of retinizing or irritation from that. My skin just seems to kind of be taking everything in stride now, which is once again why I have been appreciating the slow step up every couple of months. So that's that for the tretinoin. And let's go ahead and try the product that that's why we're doing this video, is to try the faded. So this is kind of that aluminum closure in there. So you use the back end of the cap to kind of puncture that. This is very like old school. It reminds me of my grandfather when I was a little kid. He used to use I think it was VO5, I think. Is that the brand? It was a hair like pomade, but it was in this aluminum kind of squeeze tube, and that's how you had to open it. You had to press that into that, it breaks the seal, and now you've got some product coming out. So yeah, it's very reminiscent of his hair care. So I'm just gonna go with kind of a pea-sized, that much. Everyone says pea-sized, but that doesn't mean anything. Depends on what peas you're eating, I guess. But yeah, apply a thin, even layer onto cleansed, dry skin before moisturizing. Gently massage into skin until the serum has been absorbed. Use daily or 2 to 3 times a week. I'll most likely be starting 2 to 3 times a week and then moving up slowly. So I'm gonna just apply that there and then just kind of work it up until where I finished using the Curology, making sure to get those 2 patches of intense hyperpigmentation. Underneath my chin, you can see there's quite a bit too. You're probably getting a lot of nose hair shots right now, but we're all family here. So that's all massaged in. It's kind of like a gel style cream as opposed to a serum. It's nice and lightweight. It absorbs with just a teensy bit of tackiness, but other than that, it feels fine. It smells funky. It smells like it smells like a cross between if I had been chopping onions all day, barehanded, and and then you wash it and there's that lingering kind of weird onion scent. And mix that with like the rubber band rubber, like like a rubber like if you were erasing a paper really intensely and that hot rubber kind of creates that weird scent on the paper. Am I the only one that's noticed that? But if you were like have one of those pink erasers and you're like, it's that smell that comes off of that. It's like rubber and onion, which, you know, that's fine. This is definitely a fragrance-free, essential oil-free product, and a lot of times when you don't formulate with those types of ingredients, you don't use any masking ingredients, you're gonna get some off-putting scents. That's a whole reason there's such an industry around fragrance and there's such an industry around essential oils, is because they work really hard to mask or counteract what you get from products like this. So that's just kind of part of the game. If you're going to be removing those, then you're going to have to be comfortable with some off-putting scents here and there, or just scents that I shouldn't say off-putting, scents that you're not used to having in a skincare product. So it seems to be dissipating fairly well. It's on my neck, so I'm not getting any wafts of it necessarily. I could see if you use this on your entire face, you might have a different opinion, but I just in first impressions am not bothered by it unless I'm sticking my fingers to my nose. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. it wouldn't be something that would keep me from buying it, but I'll have to keep that in mind when I do eventually get to a review. So that's that. I'm going to finish up my routine. I'm going to I always leave my Curology on for about 10 to 15 to 20 minutes by itself before I move into my hydrators. So that's going to be essence, serum, and lotion. I'm also going to be using a facial oil tonight because the weather's starting to cool down and get drier. But yeah, first impressions are positive. It absorbs really nicely. It didn't sting, it didn't burn, it didn't tingle. That little bit of tackiness for the most part has kind of subsided. So it's comfortable to apply. The scent is something to be aware of, but first impressions seem totally fine. The Hydroquinone, I should mention, also has kind of an interesting scent. It is... it smells like kind of like chlorine, bleachy, household chemical, kind of industrial, cleansing agent kind of scent. And this absolutely does linger. I smell this on my neck, wafting up to my face for at least a half an hour to an hour after I apply it. So even with other products on top of it, I can still kind of smell that. So yeah, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's just really what you're going to be comfortable with. But yeah, happy with it. Looking forward to continuing trying Faded for the next couple of months while I'm cycled off of Hydroquinone, and then kind of provide some results as far as, did it improve my hyperpigmentation? Did it maintain what the Hydroquinone left off with, or is stuff starting to come back? So let me know your thoughts on incorporating either Hydroquinone into your routine or a kojic acid product, or specifically the Topicals Faded if you have used that. So love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. If you have any suggestions on how best to incorporate these both, if I'm doing it right now, if I should maybe alternate days, that type of thing. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay glowing. Bye.